This is an introduction to Express JUnit. Hi, my name is Jim White, the course author. In this class, we're going to teach you how to set up and configure JUnit for your development environment. We'll also teach you the JUnit API, to include best practices, tips, and tricks as we explore the JUnit testing environment. We'll also see how to leverage JUnit extensions. We'll examine how to achieve total unit test code coverage. That is, making sure every line of code you write is covered and explored with a JUnit test. We'll look at how to write more testable code. That is code that not only works well, but also is higher quality since it's written to be able to be more easily tested. As a prerequisite to this class, we expect you to be familiar with the Java programming language. That is, be able to understand what a Java class is, how to build constructors and methods in that class, and generally get your way around the Eclipse IDE. An understanding of object-oriented concepts is helpful as well. You will find that most of your learning actually occurs in the labs. Therefore, we've structured a class such that 60% of our time is spent in lecture, while the other 40% of the time is spent in laboratory exercises. Solutions to our lab are provided in both printout and soft copy form should you run into difficulties with labs. Of course, you can always ask your instructor for help. Now, this class takes a little bit of a different format than other classes in our inventory. The Express JUnit format is such that we provide you with a text, in particular one of the leading texts around JUnit, JUnit in action, that will actually guide us through the JUnit API, test coverage, and other specifics around the JUnit environment. A set of slides will walk us through various sections in this text. Page references in the slide will allow us to connect what we see in our slides and the material we cover during lecture back to this textbook. Of course, we won't have time to cover the entire book, but we will take a look at those pieces that are considered most important to the normal Java developer. For labs, we provide a lab manual. This is actually written by yours truly. The labs give you hands-on exploration of the concepts that are actually covered in the text. What do we actually cover in this class? In our first chapter, we explore JUnit from the perspective of what it is, how to get it, and how to get it set up in your environment. We then look at the JUnit API, looking at the several classes that actually make up the tests, test suites, and how to get those test suites up and running. In Chapter 3, we start to explore best practices along with some additional API, annotations for example, to make testing and test coverage a little easier and more complete. In Chapter 4, we look at software testing as a whole and how JUnit fits into that picture. In Chapter 5, we look at some additional capabilities around JUnit, code coverage tools, looking at test-driven development, and how testable code, more easily testable code, can be written. In Chapter 6, we explore stub and mock objects, how to mimic objects that aren't quite yet implemented to allow you to facilitate unit testing of your particular components. And in Chapter 7, we fully explore JUnit extensions. There are also a couple of appendices that are included with our course that may or may not be covered based on time limitations. DBUnit, that is providing unit testing around data access, and JWebUnit, unit testing for web applications, are provided as ancillary material should we not have time during class. As far as environment, this class runs in a Java 6 environment. We look at and explore JUnit at version 4. Setup of JUnit is actually part of the course, and so therefore not required to be set up prior to class beginning. We also use Eclipse 3 as our IDE of choice, and we'll use Tomcat version 7 in exploration of any JUnit to web development concepts. Well, that's it. My name again is Jim White. We look forward to seeing you in class. Express JUnit real soon.